appears that you finally woke up then. Man, you were out for like a few days. Especially after getting shot in the head like that. But I've been there before. I got shot in the head multiple times. Got shot in the head, in the knee, not the arrow joke. Shot in the arm, which I still kind of got a scar to prove it. Shot in the back. Especially shanked in the back. A lot of shit's been happening to me recently. Not to mention how bandits have been taking over stuff recently. And I've recently just got DayZ, which in that game, if a man's gonna make it there, he's gotta be tough. Men, like myself, have gotta be tough in order to survive in a game like that. I actually have not fully recovered the bullet that was in you before I rescued you. I found you like 20 miles from here, and I brought you back here so that you could basically just recover. And damn, it took you a long time to recover. And it appears that your wounds were pretty much more severe than I imagined they would be. But believe me, I've been there before. I've been to the same place you've been before. Battles, skirmishes, sieges, war, dogfights, brutal dogfights, gunfights, duels, heists, raids, robberies, pretty much been everywhere that most of you young criminals go to. But you're not a criminal. I found you and I brought you back here because I knew that you were someone else. You're not a crook. You appear to be someone else who's just trying to make a name for themselves. And it's not that easy to make a name for yourself, especially since this is 2016 and legends are starting to die here in 2016. Especially legends like me will one day pay the price. It's just a matter of timing, perspective, and luck. I hear that you're like just, I don't know, like just trying to do something back there. Or you were trying to do this thing that would get people to just get interested in you. Well, my friend, that is not how getting attention works. Because back in my day, things are a lot different back in the day than they were before. Back now in your day. Especially for an outlaw like me, times for us are now becoming a lot more difficult. There's very few places to hide. There's more officers coming out on duty. There's more shit going on in the world. Not to mention the bombing in Brussels, Belgium. And also the bombing in France. Especially Korea coming up with a so-called nuclear weapon, which that appears to be the least of my concerns. Because the last time we used a bomb was in World War II. We fucked the Japanese up with that bomb. And that bomb ended up not destroying the entire world like people were expecting. And as it turns out, people were dead wrong. That bomb was not powerful enough. It was powerful enough to kill pretty much about all of Nagasaki, Japan. But not powerful enough to kill us all. And that's pretty much the situation that I found you in. I found you just sitting in the ground. and I saw your hand moving like that out of the dirt, and your face was kind of exposed, except that the dirt was like up to here, like really close to your nose. So I just pull you out of there and just load you up onto my truck and just drive you on over here and just patch you up. But it appears that you're now taking a lot longer to recover. And especially for outlaws like me, back in my day, I always got into a lot of trouble. Especially caught in gunfights, robberies. Was caused a hostage many times, but I managed to break out. I was even sent to prison. Broke out of there. But now times are now becoming more difficult for me, especially for young men like yourself. And especially since being trying to get into your future life out there, which I doubt will come sooner in the future, but eventually time will tell when you'll be ready to get what you truly deserve. Now, times like these are a pretty tough time for legends like me. Especially for men like yourself. Times are now becoming so much more difficult for people like myself. Especially since times are now becoming a lot more difficult now these days. But for legends like me, well, at least experienced legends like me, times are now becoming way more difficult. Times are changing, new rules are being laid down, more new laws are being created, they're being laid down, and just everything. But as they would say, dead men tell no tales. But you're no dead man. You're a man, or wherever you are, you're someone who's wanting to get back up to just make up for lost time after being away for so long. And you've been out cold for like almost a month. Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's how long you were out cold. It was like for a month. This isn't the first time that I've come across anyone that was out cold for a month. Or at least longer than a day. But the longest that I've ever found someone that was, like, out cold was probably out cold for almost nearly close to 7 to 8 months out cold. But you, my friend, were out cold for a month. Good God, you must have had one hell of a beatdown. Which is exactly why I keep telling people not to go into places like that. Because when they do, bad shit happens. Especially getting beat down like that. That could also lead in a very horrible consequence. Which is death. And the only law is on the barrel of a gun. Even though the days of the wild west are over, that era is still pretty much alive due to the bandits, the lack of sheriffs, the lack of frontier towns, especially smaller frontier towns like El Paso, Sebring? Oh, no, wait. So yeah, times like these are now becoming a lot more difficult for the West to catch up to. Because even though we still have those magnums and those rifles, most of them are now just used for small game, big game hunting, a shooting range, practice guns, especially for cold-blooded murder, of which from what I've investigated many years ago. I was a detective for the LAPD back in the day. And I've been a detective for about 2 to 3 years. Then I got discharged due to some complications that have been going on recently. So because of that, I had to retire and get discharged. And I can tell you were probably someone else that was like that. Or me. So yeah, times like these are now becoming a lot more difficult for legends like me. Well, it's about 2:47 p.m. So you might want to get some rest. Every man needs his rest. And if you ever need anything, you just let me know. You can always rely on an old-time legend like me to give you some proper advice on how to survive in the world, on how to be tough, to stand up to yourself, especially sticking up for yourself. There's everything. Especially when it comes to getting into other things, like you may probably not want to know, but Jesus Christ. And if you wanted to get into other stuff like that, then you might want to think twice. Because believe me, I've been there before. If you ever think of doing stuff like that again, you better think twice. Because next time you do it, it could result in a much worse consequence. Not taking a bullet to the head, being unconscious like you were for a month. And especially like that person that I found that was out cold for 9 months, almost a fucking year out cold. But just saying, in case you ever want to do something like that, you better think twice before you do that. Think before you do. Because otherwise, especially with other outlaws like Al Capone and Robert the Birdman Stroud, and Alvin Carbis, a.k.a. Machine Gun Kelly, especially with other people like Edgar Ross, which I killed years ago because he killed my father, John Marston. This legend still lives on. So just remember, son, next time you do stuff like this, you better think twice. And always keep your guard up, because if you don't, bad things will happen. Take that from this old legend. Now, get some rest. You might need it. And if I were you, I would probably not worry about what's going on in the future. If I were you, I would probably just worry about what is in store for you, not for me. So remember that. Next time you get in trouble like that, you might want to think twice. Especially for times like this. Now just take all that with a grain of salt. And learn from this old timer. And if you ever need anything, you just let me know. Name's Jack Marston. And if you ever need anything, you just let me know. Alright? Now, have a good nap. Every man needs it.